Welcome to Purpose. I'm your host, Corie Clark. I'm just a normal girl who decided to go for it. I created a thriving business from the ground up without sacrificing my sanity, and I believe that you can do the same. You were created on purpose, for a purpose, and I fully believe you can turn that purpose into profit. Each week, I'm going to bring you practical advice to help you live your life and grow your business on purpose. Welcome back, you guys. Another week of purpose. I'm your host, Corie Clark. Thanks for tuning in. I am so excited about today's episode because it's actually just a really nice casual conversation with my friend Jordan English. And before we dive into the episode, I just wanted to let you know two things. So, as most of you know, if you've been listening for a while, if you've been following my journey since the beginning, my whole journey started because I had this desire to pursue my purpose, to follow my dreams. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a blogger. I wanted to help inspire other women to pursue their purpose. And my life was just so overwhelming and chaotic. And it really probably wasn't any different than the average person listening to this show or the average mom living in America. Because, it was just like the day in and the day out and the to-dos and the laundry and raising the kids and going to church and, just doing all the things. And I was just so overwhelmed, and I did not have the capacity. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the energy to pursue my dreams. And so that is why in, it was 2014 that I did when I wrote my book, The Simplicity Project. And the reason I wrote the book was I basically took my family through what I share in The Simplicity Project for a month in February of 2014. And we just simplified our lives. We didn't do anything crazy, no big, Marie Kondo, purge. We're not minimalist by any means whatsoever. But we did take the time to simplify our lives and to create that space in our health, in our home, in our finances, and in our time so that we had that space to actually create a life that we love, to actually pursue our dreams, for me to actually start pursuing my purpose. And so I'm really excited because I am bringing back the 5-day simplicity challenge. And I have not done this in over 2 years, I think. I was looking through all my records, and I think it was like 2017 when I did my last simplicity challenge. So I'm really excited. We're doing a new simplicity challenge. It starts the very beginning of March. And so if you want to get signed up for that, it's free. It's 5 days. Just going to really help you create some margin in your life and just get you going so that you can create that space to pursue your purpose and to follow your dreams and to create a life that you love. So I have the link in the show notes, or you can go to CorieClark.com/simplicity challenge. Like, there's no dashes or anything, just simplicity challenge. And get signed up. It's going to be really fun. I'm so excited. It's funny because I've had so many people recently reaching out to me, like wanting me to be on their podcast and talk about this stuff, and people, asking these questions in my DMs and in surveys and all that kind of stuff, really just wanting to create some work-life balance or just create balance in general. So I'm really excited. It just feels really aligned with where I am right now and where you guys are right now. So go ahead and get signed up. I'm so excited about that. So, and then the other thing is tickets to Purpose Babe Live are going on sale to the public next week. I am so excited, and the reason I'm bringing that up is I met Jordan, our guest, at an event, and I I am a huge fan of going to events, of putting yourself in the room, of surrounding yourself with like-minded people. I think it just helps raise you to your next personal level when you surround yourself with better people. And so I met Jordan at Mommy Millionaire Live, and I'm so excited for you guys to listen to our conversation. She reached out and was like, "Hey, let's do a podcast swap." And I was like, "Okay, that sounds great," because I really didn't get to know her very well at the event. We just chatted for like a couple minutes, but we made that connection. And now we were able to have this conversation, get to know each other better, and share a lot of our journey, our entrepreneurial journey, and what it's like being an entrepreneur, being a mom, building a business. We even get into like relationships, having relationships with other friends who aren't entrepreneurs, and how we handle that. So I'm really excited. So Jordan is a wife, a mama of 2 babies. She's the co-owner of a real estate team, a podcaster, and a lifestyle entrepreneur. Her journey began as a single mom at 19 years old, trying to find consistent income to support her little family. Fast forward to today, she has an accounting degree under her belt. She is a licensed realtor, and she is pursuing a life by her design. Her mission is to help mamas in real estate become top producers without losing time with their babies. She believes that mamas have the right to pursue their dreams, build big businesses, and be great mamas. All right, guys, without further ado, here is my conversation with Jordan.
Hey, Corie.
Hey, Jordan, how are you?
I was so good. So good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
I know it. I'm excited to learn more about you. So can you just tell everyone what you do, where you live, all that good stuff?
Yes. So my name's Corie. I live in Orange County, California, with my husband and my 3 kids. My kids are older, so they are 19. My daughter, like my oldest son's 19. My daughter Morgan is almost 18, and then my youngest Brody is almost 15. So
Oh my goodness.
been doing the mom thing for a long time. But yeah, so we live in Orange County, and about 5, almost 6 years ago, I wrote a book called The Simplicity Project. And it was a book, it was just based on how I simplified my life so that I could have more margin to actually follow my purpose and my dreams. And that led to people asking for like a planner. They said, how can I started just getting all these like DMs and emails and, messages on social media asking, like, can you please create a planner that implements what you teach in the book? And so I just went for it. I had no like design experience, manufacturing experience. I like nothing, like seriously nothing. I was stay at home mom. I mean, I had owned businesses in the past and had owned a salon, but I had never done anything like this. And so, yeah, so we went for it. We launched the planner, the Purposeful Planner, in the end of 2014, and we had sold out of our first run in less than a month. So we were like, oh my gosh, I guess this is like what we're doing now. And so we still do the planner, and basically like my passion is just helping other women find their purpose and then equipping them to live it out in whatever way, shape, or form that is. And so over the years, as my business got successful, other women started reaching out and asking for help in launching their own businesses. And so that's where I started offering coaching and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty much evolved into like, I have a membership for female entrepreneurs. I have a mastermind for those that are already like at a higher level. And then we're having our first live event in October for female entrepreneurs. So it's just crazy how like things have snowballed over the last 5 years. I would have never dreamed 5 years ago that this is what I'd be doing today.
Oh my gosh, that
So
is
yeah,
so cool.
that's the
So
long
cool.
story short.
That is so cool. I have so many questions about that. Do you mind if I ask you questions first about you?
Yeah, that's fine. You can start and then we'll dig into, because I'm like, I want to know more about you
Well,
too.
right. So you just dive in whenever you guys that are listening, we're doing a pod swap. So we're just
Yes.
like chit chatting. And like, I just love doing this with other podcasters because what I've found is like, whenever you do this with other podcasters, like, it's not like we just blah, 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 the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
It is so awesome. Like I'm just in so mind blown. So first of all, I don't know how in the world you have kids that are like 15 through 19. Like holy smokes. I have a little girl who is almost 7, and I have a little boy who will be 3 in June.
Aww.
And holy Moses. So I just got started in this world of like entrepreneurship and all of this stuff. So I like the fact that you have a podcast and a planner and gonna have a live event. Like that's dreams.
It is, well, it's dreams, but like it's so attainable. You know what I mean? Like if you just go for it, if you put your mind to it and you believe that you can do it, anything's possible.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So, okay. Now we met at Mommy Millionaire live. Yes. But we really didn't get to like totally have any like deep conversations or anything. And I was looking at your Instagram profile. And so what do you do with, you said that you help like mommy realtors? Is that okay? So tell me about that.
You're like, what is this?
I need to know this.
Yes. So I was gonna be an accountant. And then I met my husband. Like I was in school, I graduated, I was doing internships, and then I met my husband, and I was a single mom before that. So I was like really wanting like certainty in my life. And I thought I was going to do that through being an accountant because that's like the most certain job you can have. And then I met my husband and we get pregnant with our son. And just at the time when I was graduating and finishing up internships, that's when, you know, typically you would get a big girl job. And I couldn't get hired anywhere because I was like 30 weeks pregnant. So my husband was like, just come work for me. And he was a real estate agent and had been for like 8 years. And I like always thought that real estate wasn't a real job. And so I was like, no, I've been working so hard. I don't want to do this. And then I took the leap and did it. So in that process, I like became a sponge of him and learning about real estate and how things work. And what I found was everyone is so competitive. Everyone is so ambitious. Everyone has like this really big ego around like being the top producer and all this stuff. But no one's talking about how to do real estate and be successful without losing time with your family. It was like you would see like all these dudes like at being at the top, and it's like their wives were their assistants, and like they never saw their families because they were showing houses 24/7. I was like, that's not going to be our life.
Yeah.
So we figured out a way to do it and have consistent closings because I need certainty.
Yeah.
And I need stability, and most people do, y'all. So I once we kind of got on our feet, like I've always had this, I knew that I was supposed to do more than just help people buy and sell houses, which that's like such a beautiful career. But I knew that I had more to do in this world. And it took me a long time to figure out exactly what I was supposed to do. But then I finally came to the realization that real estate moms don't have anyone to help them. Like there may be like a few people, but it's not widely talked about. Like if you go in Facebook groups, like real estate Facebook groups, like there's a mom that'll pop in there and be like, hey, I want to get my real estate license, or I want to like leave my team, or, you know, I want to do this on my own. Everyone's like, don't do it. You'll never see your kids. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, stop. Like there is a way to do it. So yeah, that is my passion, is to help, because I'm ambitious. Like I'm a go-getter. I like to work, but at the same time, like I don't want to sacrifice my family in order to reach my goals. Like I want to have it all.
Exactly. Same.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important that like we can help other women achieve that. Like you don't have to sacrifice that. And that is definitely like the same. Like I totally agree. And when you're smart about it and you put systems into place, you can run a thriving business. You can like build your empire, and you can still be a good wife, be a good mom, spend time with your family. You don't have to sacrifice that. So I think that's amazing that you're helping moms in that way. So
Thank you.
how do you specifically help them? Do you have like a course? Do you have a membership? How do you do that?
So what I have is a course, and the course is called the Real Estate Empire Builders. And in that course, we talk about how to own your calendar. So I feel like that's like the foundation for everything for any industry
Yes.
ever. Like you have got to be able to own your calendar. And that comes with a lot of mindset of, figuring out figuring out what your core values are, because like I feel like that's where people have a hard time doing this, is because they go look at like time blocking schedules, and it's what your day is supposed to look like according to someone else.
Yeah.
And so what I teach is to set your core values with your husband, with your partner, with your family, and figure out like what is actually important to you and what you want your days to look like. And then
Mhm.
whenever you put your priorities down first, then everything else just flows around them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And then
Exactly.
And then we talk about owning your calendar, focusing your mindset to be abundant, and then finally to focus on listings. So those are the three things.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. And I do see, I know a lot of women who are in real estate, and I think it's awesome that you are helping them actually create that work-life balance. And that's like one of like the most common questions I get, and I'm sure you get it too. Like, how do you do it all? How do you find that balance? And it's like it's a discipline. And when people say like, I made a planner, so I feel the same way about like owning your schedule and your calendar and that kind of stuff. And I hear a lot of people say, like, oh, well, I'm not good at time management, or, I'm not organized enough to do that. And I always just want to remind them that it is a discipline. Like, discipline isn't fun sometimes, but if you want to like reap the benefits of the kind of person that does stay disciplined and own their calendar, then you've got to do it too. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's putting in the work. And yes, sometimes there are people who are just naturally like born organized, and it comes easier to them, but it doesn't mean like it can't work for you. And so I think it's so important for women to find a system that works for them. And like you said, like, I love that, like, create it based on your values. Like, don't follow someone else's system if it doesn't fit with your life.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love that you have a planner. That makes me so happy because I am not a naturally organized person. But I've always had so much chaos. And I love to call it chaos because I thrive in chaos. Like I love it. But I've always had so many things going on at one time. I mean, even when I was in high school, like I was in the band and I was a majorette and I was in school and I did this and I had a boyfriend and da 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 da. And then I had Avery at such a young age, and like I didn't want to be like that stereotypical, teen mom. I mean, I was 19, 20, but I didn't want to be that like single mom that like just that was her story forever. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, what can I do to change my circumstances? So I went back to school and I drove an hour one way back and forth every day to go to school. And then I had internships. And then, so I've always juggled so many things. So for me, whenever I had the freedom, whenever I became an entrepreneur to like, I have all this time, I don't have to be at a certain place at a certain time. It was like, what? What am I supposed to do all day? So then I got like, whenever I feel like entrepreneurs, like if someone would let us work 24/7, we would.
Yes.
And so I had to figure out how to really utilize the hours that I had while the kids were at school to like
Mm-hmm.
maximize what I was doing and be very efficient. Like I
Yeah.
didn't want to spend my time doing things that didn't matter or that weren't moving the bottom line in my business. And so I feel like is super important as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's so important because yeah, I could easily I love what I do. So I love working, and it's not like this feeling of like I have to work. It's like I want to work. And so really making sure I find that balance, and if I get up earlier than the kids on the weekend, then like getting in some work, or when it is a matter of I have to, like being okay with it because I know like, hey, I'm getting ready for lunch. I'm going to be working all day on Saturday, but it doesn't happen all the time. And we have other days where I just take the whole day off and we go to Disneyland or something. So it's just being like very aware of your calendar, of like your family and what's coming up in the future and where you need to start, like giving yourself a little bit of room, or spending more time with the kids because like in the next couple weeks you're going to be a little busier with work. It's just being really aware and not operating in that like urgent, like, oh my gosh, what's happening today, what are we doing? I think that's where so many entrepreneurs can find themselves in that like chaos and not spending time with their family and getting burnt out, is because they're like operating in the urgent and they aren't planning ahead. So I
Right.
think like finding that balance and learning to like look into the future and see what's coming.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things is being intentional.
Yeah.
That's something that I have struggled with in the past just because I've always been like fly by the seat of my pants type of girl. Like, I'm like, whatever, let's go. Like, you forgot something, we'll get it when we get there. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. And so I have found that being intentional with my time is something that I have to work on every single day.
Mhm.
Something that's popped up recently for me is I work a lot. Like I'm like you said, I enjoy it. Like I have really big goals. Like this is a season of work for me. I always like to explain that sometimes, like you said, like it doesn't have to look like everyone else's
Yeah.
day. And some days, like I work more than others, and this is a season for work. And what's happened is I have like had such tunnel vision of like my work and my family that I've left my friends behind. And
Mhm.
so, and my friendships are very important to me. So that, but it wasn't on my calendar.
Yeah.
And if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
how do you like, what are the things that are your core values that you juggle on your
Mhm.
calendar?
I know. Well, I was just going to ask you like how are you doing with the friend thing, because excuse me, I feel like that's a huge struggle because I have like really gotten clear on those values. Like for us it's like it's God, family, the business, like those, that's like the places it falls. And so then when you are super intentional about making sure you're prioritizing those things, like sometimes there's things that just don't fit in, and I like have to say no a lot of times to things that I would want to go to just because I have something else that has a higher priority. But I do feel like over the last couple years it has like really taken a toll on relationships like outside of my family and my like closest friends. So I'm really trying to do more like this year. That was like one of my, when I was writing out like my goals and my intentions for the year, was that I really wanted to be more intentional about like saying yes to, a girls' night or whatever, even when I felt like, gosh, I don't know, I'm a little tired, but just for the sake of like, I really need to like put more of myself out there and into these relationships. So I haven't found the perfect balance, and like a lot of my closest friends don't live in this area. So a lot of my interactions are like on Voxer or Zoom calls. But I like, I need to have like that local interaction. And I feel like for me, I haven't found like a really good balance in that part of my life at this point. I feel like I'm in this like weird season there. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I like it's to me it's so hard. I actually like the whole friend thing has been super on my heart lately because I've messed up a lot. Like I've forgotten like important events. I missed a bridal shower recently. Like I've just been so in my own little bubble, and I don't ever want my friends to feel like they're not important especially like my close friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, like, I recognized this in myself about a year ago. And so I planned, I called them ladies' nights or wine nights.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, like, all of my friends would come, like, all of my closest friends were like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, it was just like something to have fun with and just to get together with no agenda. Like, nobody's trying to sell you anything. Like, we're just getting together and drinking wine.
Yeah.
Well, then it turned into, like, I started doing them once a month, and then I did boss brunches. And then what it turned into is a lot of people that I don't really know that well, like acquaintances, come, but my close friends don't come anymore.
Mm.
And I brought this up to my husband. I was like, like, I did that so I would, like, have intentional time with my friends. And he was like, well, I wonder if it's, since you joined network marketing, or like you work so much, they feel like you have a hidden agenda. I'm like, no, I don't want them to feel like that. So
Yeah.
it's been really interesting. I don't really have a plan for it. I just
Mm-hmm.
try to mark important dates in my calendar, and I try to check in with people. Um, I I really really want close friends, and I was in Kayla Craft's mastermind last year,
Mm-hmm.
so that was super special because it put me with people that really understood what I'm doing and where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really important. So my attempt was to have like monthly, like, or bi-monthly events. But I just feel like the person that can create those live events, like you're talking about, the more in-person interactions is going to win.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I like, how do you do that, like, business wise versus like personal life?
I
It's just a
know.
juggle.
It is hard. And I think that choosing like, okay, like once a month or twice a month, I'm gonna like plan on doing this thing. And it is hard because it does come down to like you don't want people to feel like, oh, like, you're being so like strict with our once a month meeting. But it's like sometimes it's like, well, that's the only way I can make sure it works. But have you read Lori Harder's book, A Tribe Called Bliss?
No, but
Okay.
I'm writing that down.
Yes, get it? Because I'm not very far into it. I just started reading it, but this is literally what the whole book's based on, and on like creating your tribe and finding those women who it's not just going to be like a superficial like get together and chit chat and gossip, but like creating intentional relationships with women where you're actually having like deep conversations and like championing each other. And it just, I'm loving it. And she gives you, it's funny because she's like tells you step by step, like, here is what you're going to say to invite your friends, and like you're basically presenting them with this. It sounds really crazy, but you're basically like approaching someone and saying like, hey, are you willing to like try this with me and commit to like meeting once a month or every other week, and and really trying to create this tribe. And she gives you like conversation prompts and things to talk about so that you are actually like creating something that's a little bit more like genuine and on a deeper level than just getting together for the sake of getting together. So
I
I'm
love
loving
that.
it. I'm like on chapter 4 and it's so good. But I do think that when you do build that really good tribe of women, it can change, well, obviously change your life. It can change your business. It's really so important. And she does like address the whole fact that a lot of women are kind of scared to get into deeper relationships with other women, and most women are all thinking the same thing. Oh, well, women are catty and that kind of stuff, and I can't trust them because they've been hurt before, and so they're not willing to actually like let their walls down and take their friendships to a deeper level. And like once you go to those deeper levels, that's when they like withstand things like any of the trials that we're going through. And so
Mm-hmm.
anyways, so I'm really excited. I'm loving the book. I mean, I haven't finished it, so I can't like say, I can't give you like but it
All the tips.
has
Yeah, I'm
but
gonna have to
yeah,
read that for
yeah,
sure. I
yeah.
was talking to my mom this past weekend, and I had a really rough emotional week last week, like filled with like triggers and things like that. And so I was like trying to like push through because we had another bridal shower and my mom went with me, and my mom's my best friend. And we were talking about like all this stuff, like really heavy stuff. And she was like, no, Jordan, I really feel like your friendship block, because we're like talking about like emotional blocks and stuff. She was like, I feel like your friendship block is because whenever you were little, like your friends sucked. And I'm sorry if anybody's listening to this, but it was like you didn't really have good friends. Like we lived in a very small town, and it's like the environment that I was in was like my friends kind of made me feel like I was lucky to be around them, kind of thing. And so that kind of gave me this complex, like I'm a people pleaser, and I'm a 2 on the Enneagram, and like my like core need is for people to like me. And so that's really hard to translate to making friends as an adult.
Yeah.
Because I just want people to like me, and then I come off like not genuine, or I don't know. And I connect with people really easily. Like I can become instant best friends with someone, so they kind of feel like it's superficial. So it's just been really weird.
Yeah, I
How do
get
you make
that.
friends?
I know. I totally get that. And, it's hard because I do like, we go to church. And so we have friends at church. And I think I'm like the same way. I'm a 3, but I definitely am a people pleaser. I want people to like me. And so, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't figured it out, honestly. Like, I don't have any deep answers other than I think that we as women, like, we have so much more in common than we realize, and we're all kind of probably thinking the same thing. You go into a new group of people and you're wondering what they're thinking about you, but they're sitting there wondering what you're thinking about them. If we all could just like cut the crap and say like, hey, like, we're just real people with like real fears and real dreams, and actually like see each other for who we really are, then I think it like could change relationships for women. But I don't know, it's hard. I have a couple of cousins that live close by that were really close, so we just last night had a girls night, and it was so nice because it's like I don't need to like pretend I'm anything. Like, I know they love me no matter what, and I don't have to wonder like, are they gonna like my outfit, that kind of stuff. So
I
it's
know.
so stupid because it's
It's so
like, I
silly.
know. I mean, and the thing is like, I'm really confident. Like, I'm really confident, but I walk into a room with like new people, or it doesn't even have to be new people. Sometimes new people are easier than people,
Right.
and yeah, I don't know.
No, I did the same thing, especially like when we went to Mommy Millionaire Live. Like Kayla brought this up, and the whole time I was like, "Well, what about my outfit? Well, she has a cuter outfit than me. Why didn't I wear that?" And like I remember, I ran into you. I was like, "Dang, that girl has a cute outfit on," and you always look like so pulled together. And I was like, "Man." And then just like looking around at the whole room of like whenever we did that, when we did that exercise and we were like on a big circle, and then like someone would walk up and say something that they've like never told anyone. How powerful was that? It was like we
Yeah.
are all the same. Like we
Yes.
all go through the same things.
Yeah.
And I love events like that because it's like we're all just like the same person, and we're all just trying to get through. So what is your event going to be like?
It is, well, I mean, I don't want to say like Kayla's, because not really, but yes, like for female entrepreneurs. And we really like are trying to create a space that is like safe and inviting, where women can come and like be themselves. And, we are planning out some experiences like similar to that, where like, and especially just like right from the beginning, like where it's just going to level the playing field, where it's going to break down like those like walls of like, feeling guarded and feeling like they can't be themselves. And I just really want to kick off the event with letting these women know, like, you are all like literally on the same level. I don't care how much money you're making. I don't care if you haven't even started your business. Like, we're all the same. We all have like this like desire and this passion inside of us that we want to pursue, and we want to create more impact in the world around us. And so, as long as we have that one common thread, the rest of it doesn't really matter. And so we just really want to empower the women to, build their confidence, to get realigned with their purpose and their vision and their values. And then bringing in like expert speakers to really help give them tangible, like actionable advice and tools to like step into, the next phase of their business when they leave. So I'm really excited about it because there's just nothing I like more than like actually seeing a woman like when they kind of click, like you can like see it in their eyes where they're kind of like they get excited about their dream and they realize like
Mm-hmm.
they actually can pursue it. Just like, giving themselves that permission and realizing that they're worthy. Like that's just like my favorite thing, whether it's on like a one-on-one coaching call, if it's in my membership, if I'm just talking to someone like at a coffee shop, like when you kind of see that moment when they get it and they get excited about their dreams instead of feeling scared about their dreams, like that's just like my favorite thing.
Oh my gosh, that sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm so excited.
Oh, that sounds so incredible. That's one of my dreams, is to hold an event one day. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
any clue. I'm just started. So I feel like people that listen to my podcast, they are on this journey with me of like me learning like how to do Instagram, how to build a
Mm-hmm.
brand, how to like make a course, how to like maximize profits, like all the things. So I love being able to talk to people like you who are like a good bit further along in the process, to like show like what can be. So
Mm-hmm.
I just want to like take it back for a minute, because you said that you were a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you go from being a stay-at-home mom to where you are right now? Like what made you take that leap and write the book and all that stuff?
Yeah. Well, I've kind of, since I was a little girl, I've always had like an entrepreneurial bug. My parents had their own business. My grandparents had their own business. I had like so many little business ideas when I was a kid. Um, and then when I got married, I went to beauty college and I owned my own salon when we lived in Northern California. It was a little salon. It was just me and a girlfriend that worked there. But, I just always wanted my own thing. And so when we moved to Southern California, I didn't want to like rebuild my clientele. That was in 2011, I think. Yeah, 2011, we moved to Southern California. And I had been blogging, but I had like this, like I had like a money saving coupon blog, and I was like horrible at it. And but my the reason I started it was I really just wanted to help women, like, save money and be more like financially frugal and take care, like basically helping stay-at-home moms like be more intentional with their money and that kind of stuff. So anyways, I ended up starting a totally different blog under my own name and really just started writing and whatever came to mind, just things to inspire women. And that's what kind of led to the book, because I actually wanted to write a different book. I wanted to write a book about like living on purpose. And what I found was my life was just so chaotic and not like, no one from the outside looking in would think it was any different than anybody else, who's raising a family. And I homeschooled my kids and, we're involved at church. And so we just had a full life. And the thing was, is I just could not find like the time or the capacity to spend time like following my dreams. And so that's when I decided, it was 2000, beginning in 2014. I was in a Facebook group that was led by John Acuff. I don't know if you know who that is.
Mm-mm.
He's an author and he writes like business books. He used to work for Dave Ramsey and now he's on his own and he speaks and writes books on business stuff. And he started this group and we were supposed to choose like one thing to focus on every single day for like 30 minutes a day. And so I tried in January, I tried doing the writing, okay, for 30 minutes a day, I can do this. Well, I only made it a few days in. And then it was just very sporadic the rest of the month because it was, life. And so then in February I decided to repeat the challenge, but instead of writing or focusing on my dream, I focused on simplifying our life and really like getting intentional about like where we're spending our time, like and I pretty much split it into 4 categories: our health, our home, our finances, and our time. And just took really simple, basic steps, spending 15 minutes a day, decluttering or cleaning out the fridge, planning a menu, whatever it was, going for a walk, just really getting super intentional about creating margin in each of those areas. Because if you can create like a little bit of margin in each area of your life, it actually makes like a big impact on your entire life. And so and then at this time I was actually like, okay, like getting into the whole online like business, like how can I, make money from my blog? And I was doing affiliate stuff, and so I was going to turn it into an ebook and just kind of to do like, not even to make money, but just as like a lead generation. Um, and then I decided, like, no, you know what? I'm just going to turn this into a real book and see what happens. So I did. And this was like beginning of Instagram days. So, we're talking like hardly any followers, like cheesy, like really bad pictures. But that was pretty much how, like, Instagram, Facebook, and my blog, it was how I marketed my book. And that's when people started asking about the planner. And I think because I had just published a book, they just like self-published it, put it on Amazon. But I feel like when you take those little steps, like they give you more courage for like the next big thing. So like when I published my first blog post just on CorieClark.com, I was like scared out of my mind. Like, what are people going to think? I mean, I'm sure only 5 people read it, It's like, that's like the beauty of like when you're first starting is like not as many people are reading your stuff. So it gives you that time to be messy and to make
Mm-hmm.
mistakes and figure it out. So yeah, then when I started like trying to develop this planner, and I had no design experience, I signed up for like lynda.com. It's like there's like free, like, well, I did like the free trial, the 30-day trial, basically to try and learn like some of the design stuff. And it was crazy, but we just figured it out. And I took pre-orders on the planner so that I could help like fund it. And then when we got it in December, we were sold out in less than a month. It was crazy. And this was all like I said, this was early Instagram days. I mean, I don't even think I had 1,000 followers. I think at that time, as the planner started taking off, that's when like my Instagram started growing because of the planner. But it wasn't like I had this huge following or huge email list. And yeah, it was just wild. So that would be like, honestly, like if I could tell anyone, like if you're scared to do something, like you have to take that first step because it'll give you the courage to take the next step. And it's not like, it doesn't make the next step like not scary. It's just a little less scary.
Right. Like, and then I think you just kind of like get used to being scared or
Yeah.
like get used to like having fear and
Yeah.
discomfort and you just do it anyways.
Yeah. Well, because you
Yeah.
realize that when you do it anyways, well, like there's 2 things that'll happen. It'll either be a success and it'll be really awesome, or it'll be a failure and you'll learn from it and you'll try something different or you'll tweak it for the next time. Like either way, you're going to learn from it. And so to me it's like even the live event, like you said, like I want to have one and I'm not sure what that's going to look like. Well, like that was me like a couple years ago. I was like, I've been saying for the last, like, even since I wrote the book, like, I want to have my own event, but I didn't know what that looked like. I don't know anything about planning a live event. I know it's going to take a long time. And so that's why finally, like, in the fall, I just like put it out there on Instagram and I was like, hey, like, we're going to have a live event in October or like in the fall. We didn't know when because we didn't have a place or anything, but I had to, if I didn't put it out there and like put it into motion, like then I couldn't do it right now. like if I was starting right now, then it wouldn't happen till like 2021, you know, because it's a big live event takes a long time to plan. So yeah, and I'm like scared out of my mind, but but if
I
I
love
don't
it.
have the first one, how am I going to have the second one, you know?
Right. Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, I felt the same way whenever I decided to have my podcast, because up until that point, like it had just been me and Bo doing real estate. Like there was no like personal development, there's no coaching, there's no nothing. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have a podcast. He's like, okay. And we were, because I was like all into social media, and I was like, we need more diverse content. Like we need to be different. We need to have, like all these people, but there's no husband and wife real estate team podcast out there. And he was like, okay. So then we got a microphone, and we're like, well, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? And he was just like, not about it, like at all. And I was like, fine, I'll have my own podcast. So I like started to think about like what I was going to call it. And then whenever I started to like talk into the microphone, I was like, my voice sounds like I'm a 3-year-old hillbilly from like the backwoods of Alabama. And it just like, whenever you hear yourself talk, because
Yes.
I grew up in Alabama.
I think it sounds cute.
Thank you. But like whenever you hear your own voice, you're like, oh my God, like
I
what
know.
is that?
Yes.
And so I was just so terrified of, like, I remember when I recorded my first podcast interview, I like had to dance out to Beyonce. Like I had to put my AirPods in and like go shake it out. Like I was terrified.
Yeah.
And then whenever we launched, I had like a couple of episodes already recorded, but I was like, what if nobody likes it? What if everybody hates it? What if I say the wrong thing? Because like part of me wanting to have a podcast is like sharing my story.
Mm-hmm.
And because I feel like whenever people just meet me, they're like, or at the time it was like, oh, you're 25, you're married, you have 2 kids. Like, oh, my life must be so great for you. But I mean, it was great, but like I wanted to share like what it took to get there.
Yeah.
And and a lot of that story has other people in it, and I didn't want to hurt those people, and I wanted to like have in mind like my daughter, like she's gonna listen to it one day, so I wanted to be like, so constantly my mind was like, what are people gonna think about it? What's Avery gonna think about when she's like 15? Like,
yeah.
And what I realized is like if I just stand in my truth and I am confident and I am true to who I am, and like that southernness and all, like people will either love it or they won't love it.
Yeah.
And either way, it's okay.
Exactly. I know. And it honestly, it's so much easier to just be yourself, to do what you feel called to do, because when you try to like tweak things about yourself to fit into someone else's standards, which like, hey, we don't even know what those standards are. Like we make those up in our head. So it's so pointless, and it takes so much work to try and be someone else. It's so much harder to try and be someone else, and that's honestly when it comes down to it, like that is what sets you apart. Like you can't just blend in or no one's gonna listen to you, And so, yeah, just trying to like attract people and repel people at the same time is like, it's the best thing that you can do for your brand.
For sure. So how did you get so confident in who you are and your brand and like doing it like your way? Like, how did you get that way?
I think a lot of it really was just like practicing it, just showing up. And I feel like I honestly had like when I started, I didn't know any different. You know what I mean? Like I said, Instagram was not a thing very much. Like it was just starting. And so I didn't have this like, oh, I didn't know who any of these people were. I didn't know who like Amy Porterfield was or, any of these people. I was just doing my thing. And then obviously I started learning about those people because then I started looking to them for like guidance and help and that kind of stuff. But when I started, it was truly from a place of like, I just want to help other people. And here is what I found that helped me. Maybe it'll help you. And then, so there was never like this, oh, I'm going to write a book so that I can make money. I'm going to create a planner so that I can make money. It was all from a place of service. And so I feel like that is something that helped. And so for any of our listeners that are at the beginning and you're trying to find that product or that hit, like you can't find it based on like, oh, what do I think is going to sell? Like you need to listen to your audience. You need to listen to like, read what they're saying in their comments, like have conversations with people. And when they start asking you for help in a certain area, then that's your sweet spot. That's where you need to start creating content, creating, whatever it is that can help them and not as a way to make money. I think too many people try to do it the other way around. Like, oh, what's the quickest way I can make some money? And then it's really hard to try to like fit yourself into that mold. Like when you're like confident in who you are, what you want, what you're good at, like how you can help people, then like that's when people just start getting like they get attracted to you. They start coming to you and you don't have to like push yourself.
I love that you brought that up so much because like whenever Bo and I met, like he had always dreamed of having like location independent income because being in real estate, that is very much dependent on your location.
Yes.
And so he was like, I just want to have freedom. Like I want to travel. I want to do these things and like our business keep going. And so the first thing he did is he came up with an e-commerce site that was like selling dudes like hunting equipment and camping equipment from like China. It was like a Shopify store, and like the stuff was from like what is it called, like Alibaba or something. It was like so crazy.
Drop shipping.
Yes. Yeah. And I was like, babe, like what are you doing? I was like, no, if you want to do this, you're gonna need to, this is what you need to do. We need to make a baby boutique, and we need to drop ship baby clothes and baby stuff because you know who's on their Instagram wanting to buy stuff? Pregnant mamas.
Yes.
They want to buy stuff. They want, like, men are not buying camping stuff on the internet like that.
Yeah.
From some random website. So we did that and it just flopped. It was it was fun, and we did it for like probably a year just on the side. But like the customer service and like it just is so out of alignment of what like, we were meant to do. But one of the biggest problems was we just did it to make money. Like there was no purpose behind it. And that's like, if anyone out there is listening, like just like Corie said, my husband's like staring at me through the window. Really like, what is he doing? Sorry guys. But there was no purpose behind it. So whenever we got to this point, like 2 years ago, whenever like our real estate business was really thriving and we kind of could breathe financially, like we weren't like trying to get out of debt or pay, whatever. I was like, I really feel like we're meant for something more. And I don't know what that is, but like I feel it. And so I just kept taking action and action and action and trying to figure out like what that was. And I spent a year and a half trying to figure that out. But in that process, I am made to help women live an amazing life. And that comes with being financially free, finding your purpose, like putting yourself first, all of those things. And that's why I feel like I'm doing the right thing now. And yes, it's taking a little bit longer. Like my course is taking a little bit longer. Network marketing is taking a little bit longer. It's not instant gratification, but I know if I keep doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing for the right purpose of helping women, then it's all just going to come to me later on. Like it's just like a byproduct of helping people.
Exactly. That's hilarious. I love that you have that story of starting that, because like e-commerce is, well, I'm in e-commerce because I sell my planner in a shop online, but yeah, it is a lot of work. And so if you're not passionate about it, like you either have to already have a ton of money to dump into it and get your ads running and have a whole team set up. And that's fine. Like I know there are people out there running businesses just to make money, and they're investing in things just to make money. And that's awesome. Like if they're good at it and that's, what makes them happy, go for it. That's a job. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think a lot of people they're trying to find some new strategy or some fancy funnel, and it really is not that. Like that is not what's going to bring you
like your ideal customer. You are going to bring you your ideal customer. You showing up, you like sharing your real life, you know, you putting your own unique twist on what you teach. And that is what's going to attract people to you. That's what's going to set you apart in your industry. And I think if, you know, more people started like spending, if they spent as much time working on their like personal brand as they did on like, you know, their marketing and their funnels and, you know, strategies and taking another course, like their business would change completely.
I
It's
totally
just,
agree.
yeah. Yeah. So
Totally
that's what I
agree.
like right now. That's what I'm like super passionate about. Cause I'm like, the thing is like the barrier to entry into the online space is like free. Anybody can make themselves an expert in anything. So, which is great. It's like the opportunity is amazing right now. So, if you want to stand out, like, you know, from the other 1,000 people trying to do what you're doing, then you have to show up as yourself. It's really the only way you can separate yourself.
Boom. That was so good. That was so good. Do you have any last questions?
Okay, so now I do have a question because like what do you see like where with your course and how you're helping these mommy real estate agents? Like what's your dream for that? Like
What's
what's
my
your
dream?
dream or your, like do you is that kind of like do you have a big vision for that and where you want to see that brand go?
For sure. So I had a really hard time niching down to real estate
Mhm.
moms because I want to help everyone with everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me right now, this is the thing that I can actually help people with because it's
Mhm.
something that I've done. I can't help everybody with everything right now. I'm
Yeah.
not on that level. Like I just got to stay in my lane, put my blinders on, and my vision is to help as many real estate moms as I can to be able to be ambitious and not feel shameful about being an ambitious mom
Mhm.
and have like not lose time with their family. So
Yeah.
my dream for what I'm doing is I want to help as many real estate moms as I can, and then eventually it'll expand outside of just real estate.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
would be my huge dream. But right now, like I just want to stay in my lane
Yeah.
and I don't want to be everything to everybody because I will totally exhaust myself doing that. So
Yeah.
um I really just want to help more women.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. And so you said, are you still working on your course or is it like if somebody wanted, if they were, if like, if I have listeners that are in real estate, they're moms and they're like, oh my gosh, I need Jordan's help. Like what's their next step?
So their next step, the course is evergreen. So what
Okay.
that means is I have a link in my bio on Instagram and I have a free training that you know how some people have free trainings and it's like they really don't teach you anything. Like
Yeah.
I do teach in this free training. So I have a free training, and from there you can join my Facebook group where I do trainings often in the free Facebook group on like if I go to a class, I'll do a recap. If I like on mindset and listing presentations and Instagram and social media. So
Nice.
from the free training, you would get emails and you could sign up through the course through that.
Awesome. That's so cool. Good for you.
Thank
I
you,
love
girl.
it. That's so exciting.
It is. It's
Awesome.
been a journey, man. It's been a journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, that's the thing. It is for everybody. And, you know, we're all like exactly where we're supposed to be. And if we can, like you said, put those blinders on, stay in our own lane, focus on like our next step and keep taking action so that we get that clarity. Um, you know, like you mentioned, it took you like a year and a half to kind of figure it out. And that's I mean, when I wrote my book, I had no idea it was going to turn into a planner and then turn into, you know, like the successful business that was, and then into a whole like second business of like coaching and masterminding. I had no idea. And so if I hadn't written that book, I would not be sitting here talking to you today. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. And so I just like want to encourage women like if they feel like they should do something just do it. It doesn't mean it's the end game. It doesn't mean anything has to happen after it. It's just like you have to put yourself out there and do that scary thing you've been wanting to do, because you have no idea what it could lead to.
So true, girl. So true.
Yeah.
So where can everyone find your membership site?
I have, well, same thing in my Instagram bio. I have a link to, it's closed right now. We actually just closed last night. So,
man.
Yeah. So, but we'll open again probably in about 6 to 8 weeks, but they can get on the wait list there, and there's info for the live event. And Instagram is like my favorite place to hang out and connect with people. So
me too, girl. Well, all righty. Well, Corie, what is the name of your podcast for all of my listeners?
It is called Purpose with Corie Clark.
Love
and then
it.
What's yours?
Mine is called The Life for Me, The Life for Me podcast. That's it.
So awesome. And I'll add all of your links to my show notes and all that good stuff.
All the good stuff. Well, thank you so much, Corie.
Yes, thank you. This has been so fun.
So much fun.
Thanks so much for listening, you guys. I'm going to put all of Jordan's links in the show notes so that you guys can follow her, learn more about her. If any of you are in real estate, you definitely want to follow her. She's just a great girl. So I will have all of those links in the show notes, as well as the link to sign up for my all new Simplicity Challenge that starts in less than 2 weeks. And yeah, that's it. So thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. I love sharing new episodes with you guys. Be sure to share this on Instagram and tag Jordan and tag myself. Let us know what you loved about the show, and be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. That's how we help other purpose-driven women find the show. Thanks so much, you guys, and I will be back next week.